auction. Okay, so you went in with your money.
Well, first of all, of course, I checked the list of properties. I picked out different properties. Some were crappy. Some look crappy but were really good.
Some look crappy but were really good. Okay.
Yes, that's the secret. Look for the crappy property in a nice neighborhood. Okay, that's one of the secrets.
Right, crappy and nice. Okay,
yes,
right.
yes.
Jot that down. Take that down, right?
So I bidded for it and won my first auction bid. 10% down and 15 years to pay. It only cost me 20,000 initially, and it's the leverage concept that allowed me to enter with very, very little money.
Oh, okay. Okay. So we'll get back to that. That's very interesting. But you know, we had somebody text in a question for the two of you during the break. And but before Alvin reads the question, let me announce to the audience or to the viewers that for any comments you might have or questions or suggestions, you may text us at 0922-859-0875. Please indicate your name and your location. Okay, so Alvin, could you read the question first?
Yes. Well, this is the first question, and it's from an unknown sender.
Unknown sender, right.
You didn't announce the
all right.
requirements yet. But anyway, I've been studying real estate investing, specifically with Larry's and Eden's way. How could I meet them or attend their seminars and be a real estate investor as well?
Eden?
I guess you can go through the same path I attended the Think Rich Pinoy seminar, and you can meet us there, and from there we can discuss what you want. Some people would approach us and ask, they have properties that they want to sell, or they want to buy a property, they want to invest in real estate, so we can help them with that.
Where exactly is this seminar and when?
It is on August 28th. At UN Avenue, Film Life Center, UN Avenue, Manila.
Okay, August 28th, Film Life Center, UN Avenue, Manila. What time does it start?
It starts at 8 in the morning.
It starts at 6 in the morning. No, 8 in the morning. All right.
Do you have the website with the details? So how they can register the investment and all?
You can view the details at thinkrichpinoy.com under the seminar tab.
Okay, get that down. That's thinkrichpinoy.com. Okay.
All right, cool. Thank you, unknown sender.
All right. You can ask Eden her question now about that.
Yeah, this is the third time I'll be asking a question.
Right. Go ahead.
It's still ringing in my head, the steep discount. But how do you get properties at a steep discount? How do you do that?
First, I'd say that you have to be first familiar with the market. That is the first thing that I did. I searched for properties. I targeted a specific area and then looked at properties for sale in that area. Also looked at the values in that area for the properties that has been sold in the previous months. And then by doing that regularly, you will see the opportunity once it gets in. For example, I've been asked, we are looking at the same newspaper every Sunday, which is Manila Bulletin. That is where I get a listing of the foreclosed properties. They have a good list there. And how do you determine which ones are the good buys? I'd say it takes a certain skill to pinpoint that specific property that's a good buy. So that is what you have to develop, especially for beginning investors.
Okay. Larry, is there a way to develop that skill that Eden's saying, that to pinpoint, like you said, crappy looking properties in great neighborhoods, or to pinpoint the good buys? Is there a way to do that?
Yes. Well, every time you open Manila Bulletin and you look at those lists of properties that are listed for auction, you have to put in your mind that there's gold buried in that newspaper.
Okay.
There's buried treasure.
All right.
And you only have one small task to locate that buried treasure. One hint, for example, we had a property in Makati that was advertised, the floor area, the lot area is, let's say, 250 square meters. But the floor area was something like 600 square meters.
Whoa, okay. That's big.
Yes. But how can you have 600 square meters in a 250 square meter lot area?
Beats 3 floors.
So there's a building on top of it. So immediately it rings in your head that it's not just a simple one-story building. It's several stories. And when I looked at it, when we pursued it, we found out it was a property that several years ago was selling for 15 million. This is a Makati property and was being advertised for 5 million in a little small ad in this auction.
Oh, okay.
So immediately, what do? I mean, there's treasure buried, right?
Yeah.
So immediately, is this a possible treasure? So you go look at the property, check out the location, and then find out, boy, how come people didn't see that ad? Only you did. Because they didn't understand the difference between small lot area and big floor space.
Yeah. So it's not genetics, it's homework.
Oh, yes.
It's research, it's homework.
It's hard work, it's homework, it's doing your due diligence, they call it.
So, Alvin,
Yeah.
what are you reading?
Yeah, well, I was reading this while he was talking about treasure hunting.
We're talking and you're reading?
Yeah. Well, Larry brought these flyers.
okay.
And I was thinking his treasure hunting skills might be learned through this.
Okay, what's that?
It says successfully begin to buy, sell, and lease real estate properties in less than 3 months.
What's this? This is the one?
Yeah.
You're reading? Right?
Larry brought
right, this one, right.
How does it work, Larry?
How does it work?
How do you get a franchise?
Well, the key question that was asked in the seminars and how can we learn? How do we learn the tricks? How do you pass on the knowledge?
Yeah.
And of course, we have limited time. We have limited resources. So can we set up an entity that can become the mentor to interested franchisees? And that's how franchising, that's where I stumbled into franchising.
Okay.
Are you familiar with the franchise concept?
Well, we're familiar with the franchise concept, but mostly with food.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, mostly with food.
The key aspect in franchise is 90% of startup businesses fail.
Okay.
But
yes.
90% of franchise businesses with a track record that you get into, 90% succeed.
Okay.
10% fail. So it changes the risk profile for budding, starting investors, entrepreneurs. You know?
Okay, so basically you're batting on a 9 hits out of 10.
Success.
9 successful hits out of 10. That's a good risk, right?
That's a fantastic
That's a
ratio.
fantastic risk. And we can learn all of that in your seminar this August 28th, right?
No, the seminar exposes you to real estate investing.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
You meet successful franchisees. We share with you even our difficulties, our mistakes.
Okay.
And little by little, if you are interested, depending on your passion and desire, you could do it straight from the book, or you could say, hey, I want to minimize my risk. I want to be part of this franchise.
Okay, you mentioned the book, but I won't be asking Larry anything because Larry's talked so much about this book so far that you can find it everywhere on the internet right now. I'd like to ask Eden, how did you find the book?
Well, basically everything that you need to know about real estate investing is here. Only that the thing that I got from the franchise is the mentoring and the pushing. I'm the type of person who wants to be pushed in every step that I make, especially in the first ones, especially in the my first crack at entrepreneurship, at real estate investing. So that's what Larry and the other mentors provided me.
Oh, okay. So, okay, I'd like, first, before I react to that, I'd like to thank the texter's name a while ago. And the texter is Mr. Ronald Moncayo of Sampaloc, Manila. Ronald, Thank you very much. And don't worry, attend the seminar and be a millionaire like Eden here. Okay, so you said basically that the book tells you the hows,
Yes,
but it
exactly.
doesn't give you, it doesn't push you like a mentor does.
Yes, yes.
Okay, you know, when I hear the word mentor, I sometimes get a little allergic.
Allergic.
Yes,
Why
a little
that?
allergic.
Why that?
The reason why I get a little allergic is because I hear it so much there were these proliferation of scams
Okay.
a few years back, and they keep using this word mentor. Okay, and so I got a little allergic. But in this case, it's a real estate deal. It's teaching you how to do the business properly. It's franchising not just your knowledge, but your business as well, and making people a part of this, right? So, in that case, franchising, you do have a mentor,
Yes.
right? And as a mentor, Larry, just give me a little background. How do you mentor?
We break up real estate investing into 4 parts.
Okay.
Simply put, it's finding it, funding it, fixing it, and then selling it,
Okay.
flipping it,
Finding it, funding it, fixing it, and then you go with an S.
flipping it, flipping
You
it,
could have made. You could have
Flipping,
made.
flipping.
Oh, flipping.
So,
Oh,
four Fs.
oh,
or
right,
marketing
right.
it,
4
marketing
Fs,
it.
okay.
Yeah.
Finding, funding, fixing, flipping.
Correct.
Whoa, that's easy to remember, right? And that's the way you mentor. You make them follow 4 steps, basically,
Well, those are the 4
basic steps.
steps, but there are different combinations. Like Eden's very good. Sometimes she sells it, she flips it, she already has a buyer, and then she finds the property.
Whoa,
Wow.
So it's a no cash out deal. I mean, how low in risk can you get than that? No?
Okay, that leads me to that question. Really, how did you do that? How do you do that?
You have to get her as a mentor.
Yeah, how do you do that? You have a buyer, and you still don't have the product. How's that?
I guess I had a specific property, specifically in Parañaque townhouse, and then there were a lot of inquiries from that property, even after it was already sold. So what I did with the buyer's list that I generated from that property is to find another property that fits the same need, that fits the same criteria of
Okay.
these buyers. So
Brilliant.
that is how I did it.
Brilliant.
Okay, simple,
Smart.
sweet,
smart
man,
woman like
sweet.
you.
Right. Okay, that was very interesting. Now let's talk about something else. Let's go back to being an entrepreneur. Okay, once you've made that decision to get into real estate or become a franchisee of Larry's, once you've made that decision to do that, what was the next step after that? Just do it, or were you still like going home and contemplating like that? I don't know. What?
Well, for me, I did a lot of planning before that. And then it's just a matter of executing what you've planned
Okay.
before going into entrepreneurship. You have a lot of exit strategies even before getting into it. So you have an anchor that you can anchor on.
Yes, an anchor you can anchor
Yeah.
on. That's very logical. All right. Okay, so you had a plan going
Yes.
into the business. So let's see what happened. You made your decision.
Yes.
You got over the risk factor, and after you got in, you decided which business to get into, and then
Yes.
you planned.
Yes, pull
Right?
the trigger.
Okay, sure. Well, actually, all these questions are leading to something. In this show, we're trying to answer the question, what does it take? What are the steps that it takes to get into business? And we have a portion in this show we call Tip Box. And our little wizard here, he's going to show you exactly what the tips are. What did we learn today? Okay? Okay, things to consider. Now, the first is determine if you really want to get into business. And you two made that determination. The next is to determine your risk appetite. What will it take to get into business? What are you willing to risk? Time, effort, not just money. And then also you have to consider how much time and effort you will go into running these businesses, right? Okay, so that's part of planning. And then determine which business you want, and you guys decided real estate. And then, like you said, Eden, make your plan. Okay, so if you notice, the whole segment, we answered the question or took steps in answering the question, what does it take to make that decision into getting into business? Now, as a final, well, maybe not getting into the final part, let's just talk a little bit about what you're getting into right now. Larry, do you have any new books out aside from Think Rich Pinoy?
Yes, there's 2 books, Grow Rich Pinoy.
Grow Rich Pinoy.
And then Think Rich Quick.
Think Rich Quick.
With the co-author, Trace Trajano.
Okay. What is the difference between those 2 books and this one?
This one tells you that it can be done. You can apply Rich Dad, Poor Dad in the Philippine setting.
Okay. Yeah.
That's the big block. People say, we've read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, we love it, but that's for America, not for the Philippines, right? All of a sudden, reading this, they say, hey, pwede pala. Rich Dad, Poor Dad can be applied in the Philippine setting.
Okay.
And that opens up the door and they can go forward.
Yes.
But then they run into blocks.
And that's where the other 2 books
Grow Rich Pinoy comes in.
And
it tries to address those blocks like planning and so on. No?
Okay. And how about Think Rich Quick?
Think Rich Quick is like a collaboration between Trace and I. He's a Filipino working from the United States and doing real estate in the U.S. And he comes up with 3 strategies in the U.S. that are the same strategies that can be used in the Philippines. So it validates cross-culturally that real estate is not a local phenomenon, it's a universal phenomenon. We just need an Indonesian to do it in Indonesia, a Singaporean to do it in Singapore, and we can spread the good news that the small investor can make money in real estate. You don't have to be a big developer.
All right. I mean, at the end of the road, I heard from other businessmen that at the end of the road, it's still real estate. Because you can be liquid rich, but real estate assures you like it's a hedge. Is that true for you, Eden?
Yes, it's something tangible. It's something that you can go to the bank and loan against it if you need some cash. It's something that you can pass on to your heirs. So real estate is, for me, really a good investment.
Oh, okay. So, just one final word from you. Well, you, Alvin, of course.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you can do the closing remarks.
No.
Just one final word for our audiences in less than 2 minutes. Can you tell? Whatever you want to tell the audience right now, just mention it. Okay, Larry.
I guess there's 2 key things I'd like to share. No? One is in the franchise flyer. Just don't just buy a house. Build a business. You know, when you buy a house, you really are buying a liability. You have a nice big house. Your wife's very happy. Your kids are very happy. But you have to pay amortization. You have to pay a mortgage.
All right.
And that's very, very heavy.
Okay.
And there's no money coming in. But you have a nice big house. Now, how can you turn that liability into an asset? Well, one is, why not buy a duplex or a triplex? You live in one, and then you rent out the other 2 to pay for the amortization of the whole thing. So
Smart.
Don't just buy a house, build a business by coming up with strategies like this.
Don't just buy property, buy assets.
Yes,
Oh,
exactly.
Okay. How about you, Eden? Is there anything you want to say?
Maybe I just say to those who haven't pulled the trigger yet. I've been approached by a lot of people, emailed and called by a lot of people, and asking how you did it exactly. I usually say to them that I just pulled the trigger. I acted even before I didn't know everything, because you really couldn't know everything in this business. It's a process. So my advice is just to do it.
Just to do it.
Yes.
Right, okay. Don't buy property, buy assets.
Yes.
Convert them into assets. And for you, just do it.
Yes.
Okay, and for you?
For me, I'd just like to speak on behalf of the letter, the question sender. I'd like to put you on the spot, Larry. Are you willing to give away a prize, a book, perhaps to the awesome question? It's a very interesting, it's a wonderful question. Are you willing to give a prize away?
Yes. If you come to the Think Rich Pinoy seminar on August 28th, we'll give you a free copy
Of the book.
of the book Think Rich Pinoy.
good.
Or if you already have it, there's 2 other books you can choose from.
Okay.
So not only will we meet you, you'll get a copy of the book.
And you'll sign
meet-
it.
Yes,
And you'll
of course.
sign.
Of course, for free.
All right,
Yeah.
cool.
Won't charge you for the signature.
For the other,
Yes.
Okay, so I'll be wrapping it up now. You're asking me if I want to give a prize away too.
Yes, why don't you? This is our very first show.
Okay,
Start with a
since
bang, right?
you were the first caller, I have a workshop, but it's going to be in November, November 26 and 27. That's a Saturday and Sunday. Best workshop. It's in Makati Stock Exchange. The price of that is worth $3,600, and you're going to get in for free. Okay?
Wow.
So I'll do the details with Direct, and maybe you can collect your claim stub here in the station itself. And to end all of this, I'd just like to say that getting into business, yes, there are risks, but there are also rewards. Remember, in anything you do, it's not about perfection. It's about connection. Thank you. That's our show. All right.